Welcome back to the channel. We're back with some more Commander content here today with our first Monster Hunter Commander. Not gonna lie, the first thing I know about Monster Hunter is that you hunt monsters and that's about it, and there's cats in the game. Rathalos is the only one that I've seen from the Secret Lair drop, only because he's in Smash. So that's the one we're going to be covering here today with Rathalos, King of the Skies. For 4 and 3 red, you get 7/7 with flying, where whenever Rathalos attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target, 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. So we're going to be trying to deal 4 damage to our opponent's face, 3 damage to our other opponent's face, but who needs to stop at 4 damage? We triple that damage, making it into 12 damage, doubling up again, making it into 24 damage. 2 hits just like that, and we're already winning the game off of our opponent. But that's just a general overview of what we're looking to do here today. Let's get into it card by card. Starting us off, we have an Arcane Signet. We're a 7 mana commander, and we're in mono red, so we need some mana to make sure we get Rathalos on the board in the first place. Basilisk Collar, equip creatures Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever Rathalos attacks, he deals that damage to any target. It doesn't necessarily have to be your opponent's face. You could deal to your opponent's creatures. This way, if they have a 20/20 on the board, deal 4 damage to it, plus the Death Touch on the Basilisk Collar with Rathalos. You get to deal that damage, plus the lifelink, you get to gain that 4 life. Carmelin, Orb of Dragonkind, makes this when Rathalos is cast, he's cast for a little bit cheaper, and he gets haste with that. Giving him haste super useful in this deck, especially so he can attack the turn he comes down. Dragon Storm Globe, some more mana here, also giving Rathalos a little bit more power. He's already at 7, so he's already a 3-shot on your opponent in terms of commander damage, but a little bit of extra stats never hurts anyone, right? Fire Diamond for some more mana. Heraldic Banner, some more stats, plus some more mana. Basically Dragon Storm Globe, but a little bit worse in terms of this deck, because most of our creatures are dragons anyway. Lightning Grease, another way to give Rathalos haste. This way you can attack the turn he comes down, deal that 4 damage right away, rather than having to wait till turn 8. Lotus Petal, I said, we're a 7 mana commander in mono red. We need as much mana as we could get. Mind Stone for some extra mana. Ruby Medallion for some cost reduction. Soul Ring for some extra mana. Swiftfoot Boots for that haste, same reason that we're running the Lightning Grease. Also, the Hexproof on this one's really useful. We don't really care about like Hexproof versus Shroud on this one, so we're not really going for too many abilities that will target our own creatures. The Fire Crystal for some extra haste, along with some cost reduction. We like both those abilities, that's basically all of our artifacts. And Wayfarer's Vow for some extra mana. You also run Drone of the Eldraine in this one as well. That's a really good artifact there for the mana. Probably run it over like something Heraldic Banner, but once we're at the point where we have 5 mana, we're hoping to already be at the 7 mana. That's why I didn't put that one in here, like myself. For our creatures, we have a Coom Hellkite. For 6 mana, you get 4/4 flying landfall whenever land enters battlefield under your control. Deal 1 damage to any target. If that land is a mountain, deal 2 damage to any target instead. If we have ways to double this, triple it, if we have ways to give him that touch, that would be enough damage to kill our opponent's 20/20. We don't have to wait for the 4 damage. We only deal 1. Balefire Dragon, whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, deals that much damage to each creature that player controls as well. If our opponent doesn't have anything to fly to block Rathalos, that's potentially 7 damage as well to each of their creatures. Especially if he has Death Touch on top of that, that's even more damage, because it deals damage to each creature your opponent controls. Not necessarily those creatures take that much damage. Demanding Dragon enters battlefield, 5 damage to target opponent unless that player sacrifices a creature. Normally, your opponent's better off sacrificing a creature because potentially that 5 damage could be times it by 3, that's 15, times it by 2 again, that's 30 damage right to your opponent's face. Wonder if they're going to make this one into a Hobbit card. Dragon Lord Servant. Most of our creatures are dragons, so getting a little bit of cost reduction there for our dragons. Making our dragon spells cost 1 less cast is going to be super helpful here for us. Same with Dragon Speaker Shaman, making our dragons cost 2 less cast with this one. Coat, Fire Resistance. Search library for mountain card with +2 ability. That's the main ability we're going for with this one, because we need our mountains, we need our lands, we need to keep on going. Also, he can deal damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control. Good source removal, but we tend to have that already. Also, you get -7. Emblem with whenever a mountain you control enters battlefield under your control, deal 4 damage to any target. If we're doubling that, tripling that, that's going to be even more damage to our opponent's probably not going to let us get there. But it only takes 3 turns to get there, so it's not like that hard to do. Rathalos Dragon Queen. Whenever another non-token dragon you control enters, get a 5/5 dragon creature token with flying. We have a lot of dragons, may as well get more dragons. Neheb the Eternal. Beginning of your post-combat main phase, add red mana for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. If Rathalos doesn't manage to connect, that's up to like 10 damage already. So 10 red mana, that's enough to get Rathalos back if he was destroyed during the combat. If he wasn't, and he dealt the 17 damage to your opponents, that's even more mana. That's 17 mana to get out a Rathalos plus a coat, that's 10. 13 with Dragon Speaker Shaman, then 15, 16, still 16, 17. There we go. We did it. We got 17 mana. Woo. Red Dragon. Red Dragon enters battlefield, deals 4 damage to each opponent. Good ability that we're looking for there. Doubling it, tripling it, 12 damage, 24 damage to each opponent. Who knows when it'll be enough to win the game. Solfim, Marium Dominus. Discard 2 cards, put an indestructible counter on Solfim. Whenever you deal non-common damage to an opponent or permanent that player controls, double that damage instead. We're dealing 8, we're dealing 6 with Rathalos' ability. We like to see it. Terror to Peaks. Spells your opponents cast that target Terror to Peaks are basically wardry life. I don't know why I worded that one weird. I guess it's because it's not countered. So like spells that aren't countered could still be played. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror Peaks deals damage to a creature's power to any target, removing our opponent's creatures, removing our opponent's life totals, doubling it, tripling it, especially if it's just like 7 life from Rathalos, doubling it, that's 14, tripling it, that's 42, that's enough to win the game. Thunderbreak Regent. Whenever dragon you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, this creature deals 3 damage to that player. Your opponent may not have enough life total to run their removal spells. They may just need a whole board wipe, which people don't run that many of, right? Torbrand, Dane of Redfell. Source you control would deal damage to an opponent or permanent they control, deal damage +2. We're dealing 6, we're dealing 5. Your opponent, if you have this plus like Sulfum on the board, your opponent gets to choose, do I double it then add the 2 or add the 2 then double it? You're going to want to double it then add the 2 because otherwise it's adding 4 if you're the opponent in that situation. Twin Flame Tyrant, another good dragon. Is this one? Yep, double that damage. Again, so this plus Sulfum, we're at 4 times the damage already. I don't think we have any other doubles, right? No. So we're already at 16 damage just by Rathalos declaring an attack. Tyrant's familiar. Whenever you control your commander, he gets +2/+2, and whenever this creature attacks, deals 7 damage to target creature defending player controls. Good source removal there. Gonna be happening a whole lot. Wrathful Red Dragon. You control whenever dragon controls dealt damage, deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon, possibly your opponent's face. We're already quadrupling it. Let's see how much more we can get, because our enchantments are where the main bread and butter comes from. So we got Aggravated Assault. Let's get an extra combat phase, making so Rathalos can attack again. Getting us to the second combat phase there. City on Fire. A good way to triple up our damage. So we're at double, so we're triple. That's 12 times damage we're dealing already. This one also has Convoke. We're not going to really get to Convoke too often, but it's possible. Descent into Avernus. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters into this card. Then each player creates X treasure tokens and deals X damage. It's not that they lose X life, it's they get dealt the damage, so it does get doubled, it does get tripled. It does get 12 times. And also extra treasure is going to help us out a whole bunch. Dictated Twin Gods. If a source you control deal damage to a permanent or player, double it up. So up to 24 times. So we only need to deal 2 damage to our opponents to win the game now. Or, with Fire Emancipation, we triple it again. We're at 72 times the amount of damage. That's only 1 damage to remove 2 opponents almost. Oh, what's that? You want to double it again? With Furnace of Wrath, we're up to 144 times that much damage. That's 3 opponents removed off of 1 damage. I mean, you do have to like assign all to one same person, but like maybe not. Gratuitous Violence, doubling up again for up to 288. Rising in a day. A good way to give Rathalos that what is the word I'm looking for? Haste. Also give him a little bit of a stat boost. This way we could make sure he attacks, gets at 288 times at 4 damage. That's 800 plus 320 plus 32. So 352 plus 800, so 1152. Nice. Sneak attack. We're going to be having our dragons on the board. We want them on the board. We want them to attack. So, let's help them do just that. Warstorm Surge. Creature control enters, basically doubling on your, what's his name? Tower of Peaks. Right, where's Tower of Peaks? There he is. There's so many T dragons, I just realized. But yeah, doubling up on that ability. We liked the ability first time. We'll like it a second time. For instance, we have Big Score for some draw power plus some treasures. Bolt Bend. This way, our opponent's not just gonna. We spent all its mana getting our command on the board. Let's keep it around. Rat Weapon. 2 damage to each non-dragon creature token. Well, not token, but you're gonna be removing all of your opponent's tokens because that's your 1/1s and they're mana dorks. Case Warp for some removal. Deflecting Swat to redirect our opponent's removal. Lightning Bolt for dealing 288 times damage times 3. That's enough to remove one person. Lightning Strike removes the second person. And Return to Favor protects our creature. It doesn't actually remove the third person. Sorry. Split Flame. There we go. That will remove the third person. Whenever dragon you control enters, pay red mana. If you return this card from the graveyard to your hand, you may not have the extra red mana, especially how expensive dragons are. But, right. And Untimely Malfunction for another source of protection for our dragons. War Room for some draw power, Valakut Awakening. For some extra draw power, Spine Rock Null. Hideaway, Mirror Landscape, Mountain, Flamekin Village to give our creatures haste. Crucible of Spirit Dragon. Cast our dragons easier. Arena Glory. Exert it. So you go for the 1 turn you need dragons. Blasphemous Act for a board wipe. Bolt Wave for doubling up, tripling up that damage. Deal 3 damage to each opponent. And possibly have enough to win the game. Challenger's Ignition. Sacrifice one of our dragons. Deal a bunch of damage to each of our opponent's faces. Fiery Confluence. Deal a bunch of damage to everyone. And, maybe have enough to win the game. Full Throttle for some extra combats. This way, Rathalos can attack again, getting to use his ability second time. Fury of the Horde. Cast for free, untap all creatures, take an extra combat spell. Basically, get Rathalos' ability second time. Grab the Prize for some draw power plus a little bit of burn. Doubling up, tripling up. We like to see it. Jessica's Will. Extra mana is always going to be helpful, especially if our opponent has 7 cards in hand. And nope. Oh, yeah, Rathalos is 7 mana. I was going to say, wait, he's only 8. So I still need 1 more. Last Chance. Extra turn means an extra combat spell. Overpower attack means an extra combat, means an extra Rathalos effect. Relentless Assault. Seize the Day. Both extra combat spells. And Vandal Blast to get rid of all his pesky artifacts, which Rathalos can't do on his own. But overall, could be a fun commander. We're going to be trying to cover more of the Monster Hunter commanders. Like I said, don't know much about Monster Hunter, but we'll do our best. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day.